guys can hear me. All right, let's get into it. So let's take a look at what's on the greenway. And yeah, the only thing left are the ripworms. And that'll start the Hardigan thing. We got to turn until we can talk to her. We've got the Haifa commune. The Avery's making mushrooms. Nothing to do with the farm stacks. Nothing major up here either. And even though I have an upgrade point, I don't need either of these right now. So I'm going to hold off. Oof, this is going to be risky. That's max energy anyway. Oh, wait. As you say grab eyes to the other enforcers and walk back through the low end, a chirruping catches your attention. In a quiet corridor, away from the main thoroughfares, someone has stuck a small recorder to the wall with a suit sealant tape. Written across the fluorescent tape is one word, sleeper. You peel it away from the wall. As you do, it triggers some kind of improvised trip switch. Sleeper, Sabine's voice crackles through. I have seen you with the Yadigan members. Are they holding you captive now too? A high whine. I'm sorry if I have dragged you into this. Do not trust them. Something is happening within the gang. Some kind of power struggle. You cover the speaker a little, their voice too loud in the quiet corridor. I will come soon. Thanks to your efforts, I have located most of their properties. At the right time. A pause. I will see you soon. Don't give up. Remember our deal. The recording cuts out. You stare at the corridor, processing what you have just heard. Hearing Sabine's voice again opens up something inside of you. An S&ARP employee. Do they know that I know? You struggle with a mix of concern and distrust. You throw the recording into a nearby waste chute as you leave the corridor, still unsure who to trust, and head quietly out of the low end. Alright, we're going to hack to get us some money. Nothing much. We're just going to end the cycle now. Hey, Batalisk! We got some nice rolls this turn. Okay, let's go talk to our mercenary friend. Not super happy with her. You spot Ankita on the track to the farm stack. She has a box on her shoulder and is working her way down the slope. She sees you as she approaches. Neither of you speak for a moment. She looks tired, pale. Her hair is tangled and clumps of dirt cling to her armor. You both eye each other. Ankita? No problem, Batalisk. Thanks for stopping by. She holds a hand up. Sleeper. She takes a deep breath. I'm sorry for what happened. Truly I am. She looks down. I'm sorry you ended up in the middle of this when all you have shown me is kindness. She rubs her face. I'm sorry. It's okay. She nods, then looks up the stairs. She stops herself. Thank you. Ankita shifts the weight of the box on her shoulder. I've been preparing for, she grimaces. Look, she sighs. Can you come with me? It's easier if... Lead on. Ankita leads on down the dirt path between the pillars. There's a wind passing through the greenway, a quirk of the air currents the biosphere maintains, and it ruffles the leaves softly. The sound makes the silence more obvious, more complete. You try to think of the last time you were here. You've been trying not to think of it for the past few cycles. The image of the sleeper, sprawled, twisted open, connected to the ship mine, has been hard to forget. You realize Ankita is leading you back there, back into the drum of the central stack. You pause, trembling a little at the threshold. She turns. What are you doing? She looks at you with empty eyes. What needs to be done? You stand on the threshold and look up at the tanks, green and wet, some glowing with flickering grow lamps. You look down at Ankita, suddenly so small under this hulking ruin, the smallest she has ever looked. She places the box down. Follow her in. You follow Ankita into the stack through a low tank, entering the drum at ground level. It is just as beautiful as you remember, but it barely touches you. Instead, you check the apertures of the tanks for the glint of a weapon or a shadow among the moss. Ankita stops and you look down. The mossy island at the center of the tank is clear now, the equipment cleared away. In its place is a mound of dirt, loosely covered with moss. Ashton's rifle stands straight, half buried in the dirt at the grave's head. I buried them together, Ankita says without turning. You both stand there in silence for a little while. You think of questions you can ask about Ashton, about the sleeper. How long did you know him? She takes a moment to respond, and for a moment you think she won't, but then the words come gushing out. He signed on a while ago. He used to run recon for a corporate outfit, but he got sick of the pay. He joined the crew as a sniper, and the first few jobs were a breeze. He was so cold, disconnected. He always hit his marks. The last few jobs, though, he was different. I noticed that. We'd had a period of extended shore leaves on the eye, and when he came back, he was changed. I assumed he'd just had too much time off. He was right. I never would have given him the ship mine. I wouldn't have believed him. I've had crew members double-cross me, undercut me, rat me out. That's business. He wasn't a good person. None of us in this job are. This is how we die. Alone. She stops, not sure of what to add. It seems like she's reaching for something, but she can't get there. You feel that gap between you, and as you do, it widens. The water drips, the moss trembles. You both stand in silence for a while longer. You both feel it, life creeping back in, the silence ending. Ankita shifts her weight, and then starts to walk out. You follow her, suddenly eager to be back out in the open space of the greenway, to be away from this place forever. You stand outside and breathe the fresh air. You stare at the green leaves and the stars wheeling above them. That's it, says Ankita from somewhere behind you. You try to think of something to say, but you can't. Ankita puts a hand on your shoulder. You turn back to her. At least take this. She forces a handful of cryo chits into your hands. It's what I owe. She looks at you desperately. You look down at the metal bars. Ugly little things, you think. I'm not going to insult her. Take the chits. You take the chits and turn without saying a word. You continue up the track as she does not follow. As you walk up the rise, the wind picks up and the leaves shudder. You walk faster, trying to outpace your anger. The chits are heavy in your pockets, and you hate them for reminding of how little of life is worth. Okay, one more upgrade point, and I get Icebreaker. And then we do the worm. Really? Only one? Oh, but I got scrap components. How's my house? Yeah, we'll use the 6 here. $636. Alright, next turn we ought to be able to finish this. Man, I seriously kind of thought that I might be able to run away with Ankita as one of the endings, but that went south real fast. Let's see what happens. Rabia. This time you meet inside Rabia's office, although now that you've seen it, office seems like the wrong term. You find her stood in an almost bare, shadowy unit. Midway through a sequence of stretches, there are 2 low stools and a terminal in the corner. But it seems that most of the space is taken up by heavy punching bag, rubber matting, and a stack of weights. When Rabia turns to greet you, you realize she's missing an arm. The prosthetic she usually wears is set in a cradle near the terminal, a web of colored wires running to it. Updates, she says, noticing you looking where her artificial arm usually is. Nothing to worry yourself with. Of course. Sit, Rabia, gesturing to two of the diminutive stools. You both settle on the stools. Rabia crossing her legs on top and sitting straight back. Gia told me you have been doing the rounds, collecting tithes, patrolling the ward. She smiles. Some of the enforcers are impressed, and I hear you handled a few difficult circumstances nicely. Hey, Havoc! Am I echoing? Test. My Bonnie lies over the ocean. My Bonnie lies over the sea. Oh. ... No? Okay, I've got myself open in the other room. So I'm going to say a couple of things, and then I'm going to run and see if I can listen to myself in the other room. So, my Bonnie lies over the ocean, my Bonnie lies over the sea, my Bonnie lies over the ocean, so bring back my Bonnie to me. I didn't hear it, but I'm going to check again. So once again, my Bonnie lies over the ocean, my Bonnie lies over the sea, my Bonnie lies over the ocean, so bring back my Bonnie to me. Pardon the technical difficulties, everybody. I hate how hard they make it to listen to your own stream on the Twitch app on the phone, because you go and like it's just so weird. You can't just go to your channel and watch. Okay. Okay, I'm open on the phone now. I don't think it was there last week. I don't remember anybody telling me about it. What could even be causing a 10-second... Okay, let's try it without the speakers. Now I can't even hear myself. Okay, I think it's the fact that, like, I have desktop audio and the speakers, so I think I just fixed it. Yeah, I guess. So let's one final test. 1, 1000, 2, 1000, 3, 1000, 4, 1000, 5, 1000, 6, 1000, 7, 1000, 8, 1000, 9, 1000, 10, 1000, 11, 1000, 12, 1000, 13, 1000, 14, 1000, 15, 1000, 16, 1000, 17, 1000, 18, 1000, 19, 1000, 20,000, 21,000, 22,000, 23,000, 24,000, 25,000, 26,000, 27,000, 28,000, 29,000, 30,000. Okay, it looks like we're clean. All right, so let's get back to it. Thank you, Havoc. And now without. Seriously, anybody who's listening, check out Havoc. Try to drop on into his streams. He's got his requisite, followers, but he hasn't quite made affiliate yet. All right, we're going to start this paragraph over. Sit, says Rabia, gesturing to the two diminutive stools. You both settle in the stools, Rabia crossing her legs on top and sitting straight backed. Gia told me you've been doing the rounds, collecting tithes, patrolling the ward. She smiles. Some of the enforcers are impressed, and I hear you handled a few difficult circumstances. Nicely done. I wanted to see for myself. She raises an eyebrow. See what for yourself? If I can trust you. I see, Rabia flexes her neck side to side. And the conclusion? Still deciding. Well, Sleeper, Rabia says teasingly, please keep us updated on any progress. She smiles a thin smile. Joking aside, I know that for you, life on the Eye has been a struggle, but I hope that we can do something about that from here onwards. Though some of our members may not see it this way, I know you too are a refugee. She looks at you solemnly. That is why you have come to us. Enough, Rabia. Sabine's voice cuts to the conversation. I am tired of listening to your affected nobility. They cross the room, Rabia's baton in their hand, the end lit with sparking electricity. Rabia looks between the two of you. I suppose this ambush was another cooperation between you two? She looks strangely unfazed. I'll be honest, it's not. No, they're acting alone. Sabine pauses, thrown off for a moment by your enunciation. Rabia takes this opportunity to act. She leaps from the stool and, feigning past Sabine, grabs the baton and twists it inwards. She is by far the stronger, and she pushes Sabine to her knees, plunging the crackling end of the baton towards her chest. They freeze there, Sabine struggling to keep the crackling baton from their skin. Stop. Then you support them? Rabia asks you with her eyes not leaving Sabine. Your loyalties are so easily swayed. I thought you were more than Yannick's a talk dog, Rabia, Sabine spits back. Are you not able to think for yourself? Rabia holds the baton strong, and for a moment, you think she's about to hammer it down into Sabine's chest. But after a painful wait, she throws Sabine down instead, then spins the baton in her hand, thumbing a switch and shutting it off in a single move. Now what? They both look at you, each still catching their breath. Hey, Kryshard, thanks for the lurk. Kryshard is the eminent power wash and cat cam streamer on Twitch, with occasional other things, along with TCG cards. They both look at you, each still catching their breath, as if they had forgotten about your presence. Rabia cracks her neck. You were lucky I didn't kill you. I would have had every right. Every right, she shouts, the anger a release of tension more than a threat. Sabine lifts themselves a little. Bruised from the fall, they roll onto their side and cough. Rabia gives them space, sitting back on the stool. Sabine props themselves up on their elbows and fixes Rabia with a hard stare. You have something to say, Rabia taunts. Say it. This is your final opportunity, because after this, she laughs, no coming back. What's the point? Sabine breathes heavily. She refuses to listen to criticism of the great Yadigan project. Rabia collects herself. Speak! She folds her arms and waits to be convinced. Sabine takes a breath, organizing their thoughts. They go to start, pause, then decide on another approach. Eventually they say it. Yannick is a traitor. Rabia immediately flinches, her eyes going to her prosthetic arm, her muscles clenching, but she rides it out, more eager to prove Sabine wrong than she is to hurt them, at least for now. When I came here from S&ARP, they glance at you, gauging your reaction. It was Yannick who was one of the first to support me, to look after me. I should have known then, but I was naive and afraid. Sabine turns to you. Sleeper? They take a breath. I know that I should have told you I worked for S&ARP long ago, but I thought you would abandon me, and you were my final friend. What you should know is that I left S&ARP because I was running for my life. I leaked documents on the Sleeper program, on the illegal and immoral practices it relied on, to the press. S&ARP wanted me dead. I fled as far as I could to this refuge at the edge of the surrogate systems. Sabine stops to collect themselves. What does this have to do with Yannick? Rabia interrupts. The Sleeper knows you're S&ARP. I told them. And while you hide beneath the cover of being a whistleblower, you and I both know you worked on the Sleeper program. Yannick told me as much. Sabine's face falls. It is true. They glance at you and then away, ashamed. They lift their head. But it is Yannick, not me, who is in the pocket of S&ARP. Rabia flinches again. I can prove it. He made some kind of deal to keep me here, to tie me up in debt, to lock me away. In exchange... Rabia slams her hand down on the desk. Just tell us, for God's sake. In exchange for those, Sabine finishes, nodding towards Rabia's prosthetic arm in the cradle. He has been using Yadigan enforcers, using you as test subjects for S&R tech. I have the data to prove it. He's been bringing them in under the guise of stolen shipments and having me fit them, knowing each one is capturing data and sending it back to its makers. Rabia's fixed impression has started to fade. Sabine produces a slate. It's all here. Thousands of hours of usage data. Failure rates, error dumps. These are untested implants, Rabia. They could short out, fail, cause cascading failures across a person's body. And they have, Sabine suddenly looks incredibly tired. I thought the error rate in the units was down to them being stolen or modified. I have tried to fix hundreds of the failures in my time here. Not all of them. They stop, unable to continue. Rabia closes her eyes and breathes in. Then she opens them again and she holds out a hand to Sabine. Show me, she says. Later, much later, when you leave, Sabine is still talking Rabia through the manifests and usage data, both of them crowded around the terminal as Sabine leads Rabia through each layer of Yannick's betrayal. As you leave, Sabine catches your eye, and something passes between you, something like a thank you, or sorry, or some other expression that communicates both sadness and hope. Alright, got our upgrade point. So, we are now the hackeriest hacker to hack. Okay, we got another wheel. It's yellow. I got 3 turns. We're going to work on the house. Sweet. We're going to get the apartment. We're going to get the apartment. And we got an upgrade point. Jeez. Oh, we can feed stray. There's signs that a stray animal has been nosing around near the unit. A handful of chits for some crackers should bring it out of hiding. Oh yeah, we're petting the kitty. Oh yeah! The stray hops up onto a work surface and looks out of the unit's small window. It doesn't acknowledge your presence, it just sits there, behind the tray of crumbled crackers, staring out at the low end. What is this cat's story? Are there more on the station? You haven't seen another in the low end, but in this vast megastructure that means little. There could be a whole colony of cats like this one down in the Warrens. Notice there's a dog sticker. So there's an interesting question if anybody has a dog as well. You look at its sleek, dark fur and sharp eyes. It doesn't look ragged. It looks at home. In fact, its presence in the unit makes you wonder if this is the stray's apartment which you were squatting in. We're just going to watch the stray for now. Though the stray is looking out at the station, you feel its attention on you, waiting for you to spring your trap. You remain relaxed and watch as something flickers in its eyes, perhaps the reflection of a passing ship. The stray settles a little and starts eating, picking at the broken crackers. You don't remember ever having been this close to an animal. It triggers something in you, a recognition of life, totally unlike your own, but still somehow connected, parallel, even interwoven. The stray licks crumbs from its fur. Do you like it here? The stray flicks its tail at the sound of your voice. It's hard to imagine the stray liking anything, or at least being vulnerable enough to admit it, but the stray's pleasure at existing here in this place shines through its every sinew. It is not that the stray is always happy on the eye, but the stray is engaged by this place. It is alive here. You turn your eyes to the window, the one that the stray looks out of, and you both watch the stars and the ships together. You feel something pass between you and the stray, kind of acknowledgement of each other, a sense that each of you might share something with the other, a point of connection. Yes, we're very pro cats here. Dogs are just smelly, licky things. Cats are the real kings and queens of the house. Then all at once the stray yawns wide, hops down from the unit, and brushes along your legs, and then it is gone, out through the unit door and back into the corridor of the low end. Okay, we've got one upgrade point from that. Okay, Crack Conway. The next time we inject Stabilizer, we'll do that. Disable your tracker, which is connected to that. Enter the Greenway, which I'm pretty sure we got to join the commune. Flotilla Aid is like the DLC. I haven't found Matsuki caps, so we'll see. Grow mushrooms. That's out on a timer. Haifa commune, and the side rail ticket is just a matter of time. What is the timer on the mushrooms? I think we've got one more turn on the mushrooms, but let's go take a look. Yep. So after we rest, we'll have the mushrooms. Okay, inject Stabilizer. We can just keep feeding the stray. I'm only going to feed the stray once per cycle. All right, let's feed the stray. See, it's saying stray fed, which means that there's some thing somewhere, I think, but it's not visible. Let's check for mushrooms. Oh, we have to harvest them? Fungal yield. The crop of fruiting bodies is broken. Okay, so we can harvest 3 times. Oh, random mushrooms. Okay, we got Matsaki. Okay, so we can get Matsaki from this. Oh, I don't even think I've seen anywhere that I can turn in clubhead caps. I assume the clubhead caps is the next step. Spore catcher. Oh, we got an upgrade point, so okay. So once again, you know, we're going to go ahead and buy self-repair. Oh man, I don't know. Is that repair condition with scrap? But like, at this point I can buy stabilizer so cheap. So the reason would be to get +2. Am I going to get, what am I going to get +2 next on? Frankly, one of these. So we will not use a point yet. Okay. And then I think I need 3, but I might only need 2. So let's take a look. Oh, sweet. I only need 2. So Let's go ahead and start this action. Oh, right, after I do it, he has to cook it. So 3 turns until the cooking is done. Okay, and we fed the stray already. So end cycle. Minima! Hey all, Minima is a awesome artist. She's non-American time, so she tends to stream early in the morning, our time. You should check her out. Okay, so I'm starving, so... Oh man, I just did that. Let's cook ourselves some food. Nice. Not that much, Minima. Just playing this kind of like one-page RPG. Actually, at this point, I am winning. It started out pretty tricky, pretty on the edge, but now I've made plenty of contacts and upgraded my skills and unlocked a bunch of areas. I just realized that we started and I have not fed the stray this round, so feed the stray. And all right, so we need spores to germinate again. Only need 1 though, so 2 growth spores, early caps, yep, so. Exactly 1, nice. Oh, yeah, I need 3. Negative energy if I miss. We're gonna risk it. Okay, so man, I just got bad luck on that. Okay, I'm going to learn my lesson on that, and we're just going to go. I don't feel that was a very productive turn, but we'll see. Okay, now we're in the red. So, inject our stabilizer. Bloop. Buy us some more stabilizer. Hey, and Jaws on. Everybody should check out Jalzon. He is one of the best gobbos on Twitch. I guess on the weekends I should stream at 6 instead of 7. Way more people showed up. How's it going, Jal? It was a busy day. Nier streamed, you streamed, I streamed. I don't think Kryshard streamed, though, right? That's understandable, Jal. Have a good night. Nope. Ah, nice. Hope the raids went well. As you enter Rabia's office, you hear voices. Is that Sabine? You push open the door. Sleeper, what good timing, Rabia calls out as you enter. I wanted to introduce you to someone. The man standing in the center room, speaking quietly with Rabia as he turns to you. Meet Yannick. Yeah, that's understandable. Sleeper, he nods. Been hearing good things from Robbie. He smiles an easy smile. Good to meet you. Likewise, likewise, he waves a ringed hand. Now, Robbie, where were we? Actually, Rabia places a hand on your shoulder. The sleeper was what I wanted to talk to you about. She doesn't spare you a look. What is going on? That's good. Good Pokemon is good Pokemon. Well, okay then, Yannick tucks his hands into his pockets. Go on. I'd like to recommend them to your ward. A tiny pause. They've shown themselves to be a capable ally here on the Spoke side. We have more than enough to run our territories. I hear the main block is proving more difficult. Yannick leans forward slowly. It's a mess, Robbie. He waits, tinted glasses shimmering despite the lack of light in the unit. I can use them, he suddenly decides. Rabia smiles. Good to hear. I can immediately. Yannick cuts her off with a raised hand. 1 second. He steps one surprisingly light step closer to you. You eager to work, Sleeper? What kind of work? A question. Yannick lowers his head and raises it again, as if he dropped something. Nothing new for you, he answers, not quite looking at you. You don't follow. What is he saying? That concludes it, Yannick pronounces. Sleeper can come work in the ward any time they like. You shoot Rabia a confused look. Rabia finally glances at you for a moment, but it is so fast you almost miss it. Good. I know you'll be happy with their work, Jan. Yannick reaches out and squeezes her shoulder. Sure, Robbie, he says. Now, please, he says, turning to face you, let us old friends get back to it. He guides Robbie away, leaving you standing alone. You look to Rabia, but she is in deep conversation, and so, stunned and confused, you leave. Okay, we got a new drive. Crack, disable, greenway, expose Yannick. If Sabine is right, Yannick has been working with Essenart behind Yadigan's back. Time to find out the truth. And we've got Yannick's ward. And all we can do is patrol the block, and it's dangerous. We'll gain Yannick's trust. It's a pretty long wheel. So, I need food. Where can I buy food? So I don't got anything here. He's going to feed me next turn. Can I buy food here? No, I can't buy food here. To the farms. Oh, I can sleep in this apartment. And cycle. Alright, and now feed the cat. Neutral outcome. Interesting. Alright, and Emphas is preparing the Matsutake caps. He cleans them carefully with a damp cloth before shaving the stalks as if he was sharpening a pencil. His knife slides through them, revealing the bright white of the flesh within. These are good, Sleeper. Very good, he says without looking up. I bartended with a Mini G for some kelp too, so we can brew the dashi. You know Mini G? Emphas looks up from cutting with a smile. Everyone knows Ming Ji. Emphas slides the sliced Matsuki mushrooms to one side and takes out a closed pan. He opens the lid and you see the green wafer of kelp sitting in the bath of water. Been soaking it since last cycle, Emphas explains. Should be good to warm now. He places the pan over the burner and turns it on low. We have some time now. He wipes his hand clean and throws the cloth over his shoulder. However, there's one difference this cycle, he smiles. You've been the one providing the ingredients, so it's my turn to write a story. Okay. Good. This story is important to me. He gestures for you both to sit on the folding stools behind the stall. You see these? Emphas runs a hand over his forearm, tracing the circular scars. I'd been wondering about those. That mark them like perfect bite marks. Conway called it an anchored interface rig, a mechanical control device for piloting a heavy-duty extraction suit and low-G industrial options. We call it a bone suit. He points to a pattern of larger circles on his shoulder. They drill in and anchor it here, then all the way down the arm. He taps each scar on the way. It maps the mechanical movements to the suit exactly. A 1-to-1 mechanical replication. You swing your arm, a 2-ton arm swings too. You should have seen the recruitment vids. Strong people in even stronger suits, tearing through stone and scrap. Superheroes. Half my graduating year signed up from company school to company shuttle. Conway from birth to death. He stares off into the distance for a moment, fighting with the memories. But the bone suits weren't good. The rate of failures was high, and failures meant arms torn off, anchors torn out, broken bones, bad stuff. So after a while, Conway discontinued them. No longer competitive, they said. He checks the broth, turning down the heat and adding the mushrooms. So there we were, hundreds of us, with surgical alterations for suits that didn't work. They sent us home, back to that company colony that spat us out to be cleaners, drivers, cooks. They gave us drugs for the pain and told us to make something of ourselves. When I deserted, bribing some passing spacers to take me into orbit, there were only me and a couple of the others left. The rest just faded away. Arthritis, osteoporosis, they folded in themselves like paper lanterns. That was my generation. The anchor points still ache, still burn. He touches the scars. What burns worse is the betrayal. I've been on the eye a long time now, but that will never fade. Not that, and not the faces of my friends. Emphas reaches over and sprinkles a handful of leaves into the broth. It is ready. I'm sorry. Don't be. It was Conway's crime, and you know better than most what we went through. It is enough that you are here to listen. Emphas pours the broth into a double-walled metal bowl and hands it to you. The heat radiates through your hands, and the smell drifts up, rich and sharp, like a pine forest after the rain. You drink the broth slowly, chewing the matsutake and thinking. Emphas busies himself with cleaning the pans in the bowl, sealing the kelp back up for another day. Man, I love his design. Like, I'm not sure this makes exact sense, but it screams street cook. Then he quietly comes to sit with you while you finish your meal. Neither of you speak, preferring instead to let the story linger in the air a little longer. It is not that there is nothing to say, it is that sometimes, in the moments after something speaking breaks the spell. So you both idle, eager to be in each other's company, Emphas taking longer over his cleaning, his packing, and savoring the final dregs of broth. When you finally finish and hand him the bowl, you feel the spell break, and the story leaves you both. And as you leave, you know that both of you are somehow a little more empty and a little more full than before. Nice! I have known the man. And I have my 3 upgrade points. We're going to bank them for now. Because it's time to crack another one. Here it goes, boy. We're finally going after Conway. And Hardin. As you slot the worm, a thread jumps up out of the facility and unspools in front of you, releasing its data like ink in water. Sleeper, Feng's voice crackles through, moving in. Nodes, then ports, a whir of interference. Slot the worms. Timer starts now. Stay safe. The thread dissipates. You're on your own now. ConfSec F1. This node is linked to the outer security layer. Feng must be struggling to get through. So we need a 3, 2, or a 1. I've got 2 3s, so we're going to use a 3. F1 port located. Slot the worm. So only supposedly I have 6 turns to do this, but Feng's progress layer unlocked. Okay, we've got 2. Okay, I didn't open anything. Consec S2. Both the S layer nodes need to be open. Extracted before the port will be open. Is there time? So we need a 4, 2, or a 1. We got 2 4s. Oh. Let's take a look at the other one. So Consec S1. The inner S layer security is more complex. One access point won't be enough to locate the port. Oh, okay. I've got to hack multiple times. So the last hack is probably going to be 3 hacks, is my bet. But, luckily, so we got 2 4s, so I'm going to use a 4. And I need a 5, 3, or 2. So we got a 2, or we got a 3. So hit our 3. Slot our worm. The second layer controls the Conway drones tasked with patrolling the hangars. Put our little ripper worm in here. Security layers disabled. Layer X unlocked. Feng's progress. Yep, 3 hacks. So 1, 3, and 2. So we'll read them in order. Consec X1. This node is buried deep in the wastes. This has to be the final security layer. Hold on, Feng. How many nodes are in this layer? You've never seen such tight security before. 3 nodes to locate the final port, then Feng will be in. Not much time left. We can't finish the hack this turn, but okay, so this will take a 4. So we'll feed the 4 in. And do either of these need a 1? This will not take a 1. This will take a 1. So is Feng's progress visible somewhere? Oh, okay, yeah, so service dock. Feng's progress, Conway extraction, 6 turns, so we're a third of the way there, and we've got 6 cycles more than likely. We're full on energy. Our buddies are growing there. We're going to go ahead and end our cycle. Nice. Here's for the win, kiddies. This will take a 2, so put the 2 in. Complete sequence. Extract data. Oh. Oh, yeah, so the port's located. Yep. So this final layer controls surveillance. With this down, Feng should be able to control the facility's cameras. All layers unlocked. Feng's progress. A thread from the facility cuts through the cloud like a hairline crack of light. That's it. The final layer of security broken. Somewhere, buried in the depths of the station, Feng is in control. He's slicing into the camera control circuits and piping out the result. The thread flickers and unravels into an image. A scene. Two figures in a room. One sat, the other pacing. The pacing figure resolves into Hardin. The unmistakable superior posture. The shock of gray hair. The second figure's features don't seem to resolve. They're vague, unformed. A problem with the data, perhaps? You look closer. Then you see it. The figure is a proxy. Perhaps you should have expected it from Conway, a corporation whose very existence is owed to automation. The proxy is a machine designed to be piloted by a remote connection. Someone elsewhere in the system puppeteering it with their own body, speaking so it may speak. The proxy sits impassively, or the Conway executive that is piloting them does, from the distant safety of some ship or orbital colony, perhaps. We can move forward, there's no doubt, Hardin is saying. The reclamation teams are almost ready, and after that I will make the declaration. Nothing has to change. The proxy leans forward, its movement stilted, uneven, as if its body was being refracted through water. But things must change, Hardin. We need further assurances. I've been informed of a breach in one of the closed networks in the low end. You've been careless. Hardin waves the accusation away. We've been stretched. A breach was detected, yes, but no data of value is lost. Our board is concerned, Hardin. A drop in our value would be unwelcome at this time. The proxy leans back, its posture dominant. If the reclamation of A1 is contested, then we can be drawn into a compromising legal position. Hardin approaches the proxy. There will be no contest. Not from Solheim, who cannot muster a defense. Not from Havenges, who will fall in line below me. He crouches in front of the seated figure, eye to eye. And the people of the station, refugees, gangs, spacers, all either opportunists or degenerates. Havenges is no longer united. No one here believes in Erlin's vision, nor has the strength to enact it. I sat across from him at the negotiating table. He was forceful, eager, weakened by his ideological convictions perhaps, but a great man nonetheless. This place no longer deserves to bear his name. The eye is crippled. It cannot survive. It is a ruin filled with squatters and outlaws. I'll be lucky if it still spins in 100 cycles. Hardin stands. You will move forward with the reclamation because otherwise you will lose your advantage in the system. Without your advantage, you'll lose claim on the remaining palladium. Without the palladium, your factories will go dark. He pauses. Do I need to continue? One moment, comes the response from the proxy. Its head drops to his chest. Hardin steps back and paces once more, awaiting the discussion taking place elsewhere in the system. You watch Hardin as he paces, as he considers his future. What goes on within a mind like that? In the mind of a man who would burn all those around him for a path to some imagined golden end. The proxy lifts its head. We are happy to proceed. We will legally claim the station formerly known as Solheim A1 as salvage within 6 cycles. Havenges is to assist us with the transport of the illegal residents to Conway housing and labor facilities. The proxy judders to its feet. Conway will also claim 75% of the raw output of the reclamation process, after losses have been accounted for. Hard nods, I accept. The proxy reaches out to shake his hand like a marionette, and then the recording loops. You watch it play out a second time, gripped by a horrified fascination. There is a bluntness in the conversation. It's to its blatant disregard for humans as anything other than objects. Things to be moved, to be used, to be fed into structures, crushed, and losses accounted for in the cells of tables, the margins of ledgers. You realize now that you're no different than anyone else on this station in the eyes of the people in that room, and those like them. Each body here can be recast as a piece of property, a tool, an expense, an acceptable loss. In one moment, they can be named a citizen, celebrated, protected, and in another, the very idea of citizenship can be used against them. That is what it means to live in proximity to a system like this. No longer not while the eye spins. You gather the recording, pack it into a polygon of purest light, then you drift down to the service dock like a falling leaf and find the relay. It only takes a second to place that polygon of data, that recording, into the relay system Feng prepared, and then you watch as it bursts out, a web of threads heading out into the black to every network device on the eye. Let them see what power makes of a man. Icebreaker. Okay, so who's helloing me? Apparently the Bing chatbot is going rogue. Alright, let's see what we got. I think we forgot to feed the cat. Kitty time. Feed the kitty. Okay. And so we got Yannick's ward. Okay, what have we got left? Disabled tracker, which maybe might actually finally happen if Zeng gets off his butt. Enter the Greenway. Expose Yannick, Flotilla aid, join the commune, win a side roll ticket. So we're going to start focusing on the commune, at least for now. I think we might be able to do it this turn. Let's see. Yeah, I think we'll get it this turn. Oh yeah. Here we go, Haifa Commune. Okay, go back to the commune, and now we can just do the work assignment, which gains us energy. And let's check out the dorm. We can end cycle here. We can still sunbathe and inject stabilizer. And let's check Rico. So just to check, disable. So we just got. Okay, we're just gonna go ahead and. You head down into the Haifa compound, following a blue painted line that is labeled laboratories. The members you were assigned to work with told you that they'd asked to see you, but you still have no idea about what. Rico, the head of Haifa Botany. The line takes you to a blue door and through to a glass roof chamber where a network of stems and leaves filters the sunlight coming through the ceiling, casting the whole chamber in a strange yellow-green. Peaceful, isn't it? Distracted by the green, you miss the woman standing at a lab bench, camouflaged by the dapple light. Welcome to my sanctuary, she smiles. Come, let's talk, she says, and beckons you closer. What is this place? Here. These were processing centers for the agriculture of the old corporate station. She offers a hand to shake. I'm Rico. I run the botany program at Haifa. What is Haifa? She looks surprised. You've been working in the compound for a while now. I'm surprised you don't know more. She lifts a tiny sample jar. Yellow spores dance inside. Haifa lives off the land of the Greenway. It's what allows us to live like we do. No one here pays or is paid. We sleep here, we feed each other, we work for each other. Rico walks away from the bench and waves for you to follow. She opens a small door and leads you down a glass corridor surrounded by vivid green. All this, she says, gesturing at the overgrowth, it's a kind of miracle. She looks at you with bright eyes. What do you think usually happens to plants on stations like this when they are abandoned? They dry up. Exactly. They run out of water. Very rapidly, in fact. She leads you left at a crossroads. But here they endured, she smiles to herself. Actually, no. They thrived. You look at the bright tendrils wrapped around the metal frame of the corridor. They look dominant, strong, like they're taking control of this place. Rico continues, of course, Solheim tried to create a stable biosphere here, patchworking the surface with gardens and algae tanks that feed into a network of microbial reclamation systems. But the Greenway was always envisioned as distractive, a place from which to harvest is removed and sold to those living on the station, not a closed loop. For this reason, when the collapse came, the Greenway should have gone with it. Erlen himself was so convinced of it that his first colony never even came here to try to reclaim it. The Eye instead relied on outside favors and influences, shipments from the inner systems, a small-scale agricultural system like kelp and fungal stacks. And yet here we are, among growth and decay, a biosphere flourishing. When Haifa came here, we expected to find only vacuum-dried stalks and leaves, and perhaps some fungal colonies hidden in the mulch. But we found a jungle. With this, Rico hits a button on the wall and leads you through a large pair of double doors into a huge, impossible chamber. It is every kind of green. From the pale algae tanks to the dark vines that surround them. It is wet, too, a rarity on the Eye. Condensation clouds the light from the high glass roof and gathers on the shiny, broad leaves of shrubs. How? That's exactly our question. Rico turns to you, visibly excited by the room you're both standing in. Doesn't make sense. But in many ways, the system is stabilized. Unlike the farm stacks closer to the gap, who need input to support their meager output, this place runs itself. Perhaps Solheim managed something new here. Perhaps they tweaked the plants, or built new systems buried deep below us. Or perhaps their collapse caused some fortunate cascade, an unlikely chemical reaction within the biosphere. That's what I'd like you to help me find out. She turns to you, her forehead wet with dew. Aren't you the botanist? Astutely noticed. But I don't need a botanist. Rico sits on a railing. These halls run deep, sleeper, and I'm getting old. She stamps her foot on the metal grating of the walkway. Whatever's causing this, it's to be found in the groves deep in the Greenway. Haifa won't spare anyone for an expedition. It's too dangerous and unnecessary, they say. I can make the case, but I can't get the votes. You sleepers are hardy beings. I know that much, and you can speak to the Eye, uncover its secrets, in ways I never can. She holds out an arm so you can help her stand. Bring me samples, spores, seeds, and blooms. I can grow them in the lab and study them. The deeper they are found, the better. Sounds cool. I will try. Thank you, she smiles, and thank you for listening. Rico loads you back to the huge chamber and up through the passages. She's a little slower now and stumbles on the steps. You help her where you can. It's good to have new blood in the commune, she says. Many of us have been here a long time, and few come through. She settles back at her bench in the lab, stretching her legs. You go to leave. Come back if you find something, sleeper, she calls. There are discoveries to be made. And you follow the blue line back to out of the compound, all the time thinking of that impossible magical green. New drive. So disable and a Greenway, which is the whole nurturing grow bed for the seed, which I think I've got to finish this for. Expose Yannick, which is back. Flotilla Aid is the last thing I think we'll do. Help Rico's experiment. Click spores for Rico. So, just regular spores? That's kind of lame. Rico's asked for samples of spores from the deep groves of the Greenway. With them, she might better understand how the biosphere functions. Heck, if I'd known that she was going to need 3, I would have saved 3. But, whatevs. Feed me, Seymour. Oh, and there's the self-repair now. Do I have scrap components? Yeah, I have scrap components. Alright. We're going to go back and feed... we'll... Sleeper, Rico greets you without so much as a looking up from her work. I have some of yours here. Come see. She beckons you over to a heavyweight-looking console, wired to a series of specimen jars, some of which contain your spores. What does it say? The spores you have here are a real cocktail, a selection of types from within the grove, but I've been able to isolate a few. She taps one of the specimen jars. Here we have Trichloma matsutake. Rico breezes through the Latin and Japanese pronunciations as if it was nothing. A species Solheim somewhat modified for use on the station. She brings up a panel on her console showing a chemical composition, all gradient bars and obtuse acronyms. This is a combination of Solheim modified matsutake. Am I supposed to understand that? Not entirely, no. But I think you'll understand this. Rico brings up another panel, identical in layout, with wildly different colors and numbers. You see, this is what your matsutake spores look like. They aren't the same? That's the conclusion, yes. Rico glances at the specimen jar as if it might have something to add. They're fundamentally the same spores, but they carry different chemicals, different signals. She leans back and sighs. Solheim may have introduced their own tweaked versions in the beginning, but the groves have and still are affecting them. Affecting them how? It's hard to tell without samples of full-grown mushrooms. She meets your eye, and herein lies our problem. She moves to another desk where 2 trays sit side by side. The first contains nothing but plant mulch. The second you smell before you even look at it. The pungent aroma of the fruiting matsutake, like rotting, sodden overalls, laced with an edge of spice. The matsutake here are grown from Solheim stock, pulled from a spore vault in the complex. She winks. They're delicious, by the way. She sets them aside. The empty tray is germinated with the spores you collected. No activity, no germination, nothing. But the groves are full. Yes, they are. Rico looks at you directly, and you suddenly realize how much she's enjoying this. So here's your puzzle, Sleeper. Spores from the grove won't grow in the lab. But gathering fruiting bodies from the groves is too unpredictable. We need to grow a fruiting body from some of those spores so we can track it, understand it. In short, I need you to become a mushroom farmer. Actually, I already started. Rico looks impressed. Well, well, an eager mycologist. I'd never have guessed. I assume you set yourself up in the aviary. I've been eyeing that place for its proximity to the groves. Bring me whatever grows, not just matsutake. There's more than a couple of variants in there, so I'll need plenty of samples. She plucks a matsutake cap from the tray. These little things are reflections of their conditions, their smells, their taste, their chemistry. It all derives from the conditions of their growth. She smells the cap. Enough of these, and we'll have a picture of what is happening here. of the ways in which this biosphere is modifying itself, or being modified, whichever the case may be. Riko pops the Matsutake cap in her mouth, taking you by surprise. Don't worry, Sleeper, she says while softly chewing. If this turns out to be a dead end, I'll make sure that not a single mushroom will go to waste. Riko hangry! Okay, let's see what we got. Matsutake samples. I don't have any Matsutake right now. Garole samples, so here comes the Garole. And my next batch will be open next time. You think Zeng might be back at his place. Yep. This is red. Havingen Crisis. The building is chaos. Most of it is a total lockdown. No one will give you a straight answer about Feng or Hardin. Oh, that's just great. Okay, so we can do the side drill, or we can do Yad again. We're gonna do Yad again. Or Yannick. Yannick. How many grade points do I have? Just one. Okay. Yannick is a strange character, but he seems to understand the value of hard work. You'll gain his trust with time. Okay, so even with negatives, I get Yannick's trust. So I can just dump dice into that with very little problem. And here, there. Give me some food. Feed my stray. And end my cycle. Feed the stray before we leave. And let's go check out Havingen. Oh, Thing, there we go. Thing grins at you as the bay door slides open. Above in the rest of the building, people are busy, frightened. They speak in hushed tones and organize endless meeting after endless meeting. Havingen has avoided a full-blown crisis for now, but change is coming. Feng is in good spirits and bundles you inside before you even have the chance to greet him. That was the slickest operation this station has seen, he hugs you firmly. You made my job easy. He shakes you by the shoulders. I'm so proud. And, he smiles, I got to watch through the cameras as the Havingen security that weren't in on it assaulted the station. Feng smiled. One of them straight up just whacked Hardin with their pistol. It was beautiful. What are they going to do with him? I'm not sure anyone knows, but he is cooperating in dismantling his operation and scaring off Conway. Maybe they'll exile him when they are done, or hand him over to some core authority. Feng shrugs. Now I know he won't be an issue. I'm going to be focusing on systems for a bit, seeing as that's my actual job. He points to the ceiling. The people upstairs weren't so happy, though. They've been fielding questions about the state of the eye right and left since the recording got out. People are scared. I'm not surprised. Yeah, this whole thing hasn't won me many fans in the administration, but I think in the end they'll agree that outing Hardin was worth it, whatever the methods. He touches a stack of hardware. The eye is old and it was never meant to run like this. The master control points that Erlen and Havogen installed, they keep it spinning from the rim. That isn't ideal. But if you're asking me if the eye will stop spinning next cycle, no, he smiles. And me and a ton of other skilled people will be working to stop it from happening in the cycle after that. Hardin's problem was that he didn't believe in people. He believed in systems and their ability to shape the world around them. Feng squeezes your shoulder. But as far as I'm concerned, people should be the ones running the systems, not the other way around. Anyway, Feng raps you on the shoulder, raps on the side of his terminal. I know you didn't come down here for a lecture, my tracker. I haven't forgotten. He produces the thumbnail drive. I managed to finish that code solution I showed you. It's a modified Ripper worm, one made to deactivate that tracker of yours. But in the time since I got back, I added something extra. The tracker of yours doesn't just show S and ARP where you are, it transmits data about the state of your body, your current condition. My worm won't just deactivate it, it'll edit it. It'll edit that data to tell S and ARP your body is irreparably damaged. DNR. Do not retrieve. He grins widely. Pretty smart, right? That's perfect. Just slot it already. You take the drive and hold it in your hand. Then you close your eyes and open your access ports. Take down your defenses. The worm immediately enters your closed network. It whips through it, taking things with it as it goes. The moment they are gone, you forget they were there. They just blink out of existence. A second later, it is done. You open your eyes. How do you feel? Asks Feng, a little nervously. The same. Give it time. He pats you on the shoulder and looks at his terminal screen. The logs tell me it worked, so feel it or not, you are free. Feng lets the word free hang in the air a little bit before he continues. Seems like it might be finally time for a celebration. Feng wraps his arms around you. Jenna still owes us those drinks. He laughs and you join him, and later when you leave, you feel deeply thankful for having such a friend. As you walk away from the building, you look up at the wide curve of the eye, up at the hub and the other rim beyond it. The whole thing twinkles with lights, and it seems impossible to see it as anything other than breathtakingly beautiful. It feels in that moment like something eternal. That doesn't mean it can, or even should, last forever, or that it will never change, fade, or decay. Simply means that in this moment, this place has a future, and it is one that you know deeply and truly is worth protecting. So I've got 2 upgrade points, so I'm still 1 short. Harrow Drives, Greenway, Yannick, Flotilla Aid, Helpricos. So yeah, let's go get Yannick. And we've got just enough. You almost laugh when you see it. The same small recorder stuck to a different wall this time. Written across with fluorescent tape is all familiar words, sleeper. You grab it quickly. Rabia says sorry. Sabine's voice sparks up once again. She said you didn't have time to brief you before setting you up with the old man. I'm sure you've got the play by now. Earn his trust, work the block, then we need you to get into his office. A pause. It's risky, but obviously you're the only one of us he doesn't already know. Either way, we need to locate the link to S&ARP. You hear a shout in the background of the recording. Rabia says, be careful. Sabine continues. The data suggests there's some relay processing the implant data and sending it to S&ARP. We can't lock down its position. Either he's moving it or it's moving itself, or it is rerouting through other relays. We can't understand it. Maybe you can find some details on it in his office. Once he trusts you, you should be able to get close enough to get in the office. You'll only get one shot. The recording creaks and whines. That's the final piece of the puzzle to end this. The pause. Good luck, sleeper. I'm sorry, too, but be safe. The recording clicks off, leaving you in silence. You pocket the recorder just in case and walk away. Looks like it is up to you. Danger close. And it's an Intuit. So, we will go check out the Greenway. No, look at that. And they don't need food. I'm still good on money. Did I feed the cat? Feed the cat. And end cycle. Time to get Yannick. Yannick's asked you to collect the medicine from his office. You spot the countermeasure on the drawer moments before you touch it. This has to be it, but you can't rush it. You look at the countermeasure on the drawer. It looks like some kind of shock trap. If you grab the drawer, you'd likely have thousands of volts running through your system right now. You wince. Once you find the anchor points, it comes away easily enough. You prise it from the drawer quickly and quietly, then listen for footsteps in the corridor outside. Nothing. All clear for now. You slide the drawer open, looking for other countermeasures that might be inside, expecting to see a chunk of tech, the relay. But as you slip it open, all you see is a handful of wires and an empty implant cradle. Is this some kind of mistake? You freeze for a moment, unsure what to do next. Why keep an implant cradle so carefully guarded? You remember Yannick having an implant, a small plate on the side of his head, just above his ear. You assumed it was for hearing or vision. Those shimmering glasses of his come back to you in your memory. His strange movements, his speech. You look again at the cradle, and there it is, printed on the frame. Proprietary technology, property of S&ARP. Rabia said the relay moved, but they couldn't get a fix on it. What if Yannick was the relay? The thought hits you like a shock. Yannick, with a remote relay implanted in his head, networked to every single implanted enforcer in the low end. a shudder runs through you. Is he even in control? Or has Espen Arp wormed its way into the man? Could he even be considered separate from the corporation itself? You think of your own legal statutes as proprietary technology, a puppet with cut strings. Time to cut Yannick's strings, then. You reach around inside the cradle and find it, a remote connection, a tiny bead of a transmitter, likely controlling the link to SNR. There it is. You pause for a moment, then you squeeze it, snap it from the frame, and it crumples, sparks, and dies. Takes a moment before the shouts come before the screen. You're already on your way out, down the corridor, down through the unit that serves as the lobby to Yannick's office. Then out onto the walkway where Yannick lies still, enforcers gathered around him bemused. We're going to push our luck. Approach. You push through the crowd and there he is, still crumpled. You arrange him a little, lie him down properly, feeling how thin his body is under his suit. You wonder how long he's been like this, a puppet for Essenark. With the connection cut, nothing remains but his body, which means that Yannick the man was gone a long time before now. You place a hand on his chest. You're sorry for him, but it's done now, and you did not kill this man. You've seen enough. The connection is cut. Whatever Yannick was or had become is gone. Your anger is a hard core in your chest, and all of it is focused at SNR. So we've bested Conway and we've bested SNR. The aftermath. The low end is wild with stories about Yannick's death. You're still waiting for Rabia to get in touch, but you trust that she will. Getting some more spores. Let's set up my next grow. I just need one more mushroom. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get some more spores. Don't do that. I don't think we fed the cat this round. Feed the cat. All right. Go ahead and end the cycle. Okay, what's our drives? Look at all that complete. Okay, enter, expose Yannick. That's in progress. That's the counter. The Greenway we're working on right now. Flotilla aid. Help Rico's experiments. Win the side drill. So we'll go work on the side drill. And now we've been burning money. So get me some Yadigan data. I just realized that I have the re-roll power. I should have done that, but I went a bunch of turns without doing anything for money, so. I'm going to try feeding the cat twice, see what happens. Yeah, you can just keep feeding it. Okay, inject my stabilizer because we're down to 3. Two turns there. That's growing, right? Yeah, so. Oh, I'm starving. This is the most cost-effective way to get energy. And frankly, it only costs about like half of one agent hack, so one agent hack pays for 6 whole energy. But we're going to go ahead and we'll use the 3 here. And okay, so we're primed for our next grow. Alright. Took our stabilizer. I don't think we fed the cat yet this turn. I gotta start remembering to do it the very first thing. Cash flow is good. Up. I need to buy up. We'll wait on buying stabilizer for now. see if it gets even cheaper after Yannick gets, taken out. One more turn for that. Give me my food. Okay, I've got one more turn. Here we go. Your crew slowly filters out of the shipyard locker room, the bubbling chatter reducing with each group that leaves. There's excitement in the air. Havage has just made an announcement. The assembly teams are done. Sat on the locker room bench, you can feel the sidereal out there, its hulking mass, now intimately familiar to you. Over the past cycles, you've watched it grow, be assembled, you've walked through its veins and welded its bones. Now it's ready for the final stage. It will go to testing now, then enter a final process of sealing and resealing, checking and rechecking, before it's deemed suitable for its generational trip. But for now, your work is done. You can't help but feel proud. A cough interrupts your thoughts. It's Lem, changing out of his work gear. Mina, nowhere to be seen. He smiles. She'll be ready soon. Where's Mina? You two are fast friends, huh? She's being watched at home. Now I'm on the work team, I can afford a bit more help, he corrects himself. Was on the work team, I mean. We're all out of a job now. He quickly adds, not that I'm complaining. He comes to sit beside you on the bench. She's got to be in her best shape when she carries you, Mina, and me out of here. So confident. Lem smiles apologetically. Why not? I figure I'm due a lucky turn by now. He rubs his hands nervously. No use in wondering what if. Until the draw, anyway, there's a few cycles till then. Lem is right, but the odds seem unlikely anyway. How many are working in the shipyard? Hundreds? 1,000? You've certainly seen more faces than you can count pass through. And are the Celes Foundation even going to keep their promise? Out here on the Eye, you get the sense that no one will hold them to it. Why else would they be building the sidereal in a surrogate system? As you think, Lem watches you with a worried look. How's Mina doing? Lem is surprised by the question, but he smiles. She's doing well. She misses having you over, actually. I need to get you two together again soon, especially now that I won't see you here either. Lem gazes into space. She's pretty stuck on you, actually. She told me the other cycle that she doesn't want to go unless you can come too. He sighs. You ever been in a thunderstorm, Sleeper? A really big one? I don't remember. Lem shoots you a worried look for a moment. It's something else, he smiles. The sound, the smell, the rain hammering down, the whole sky stretched out and bruised, roaring and huge. The place I was born, New Pembroke, a dry old rock in a Kenway system, had 2 seasons. One of them was dry as bone, dusty, ugly. The other was one long storm, a side effect of the terraforming efforts, they said. Rain used to rattle off the roof like bullets. It washed the dust away, turned the streets to rivers. It'd sing us to sleep and wake us in the morning. We'd wait half a year just to see it again. The best day was the one where the first drops fell. Some days I wake up swearing I can hear it again. So, interesting note. Humans have a very acute sense of smell for rain. So, if you've ever been like, hey, I think it smells like it's going to rain, That's a literal thing your body does. I was thinking, Mina's never seen a storm, never even felt rain. She's grown up here, the ring, her only horizon, always in the dark. I want to change that for her. You will. Course, almost there, Lem stands stretching. Best get back to the little one anyway. With the shifts done, I reckon she'll be happy to have me home for a few cycles. He shoulders his gear. See you in a few for the draw. I'll be there. Right on, he grins. Lem leaves, making you the last person in the cavernous locker room. As you think about rain, and a little hope creeps in. Is it possible? Could the sidereal really take you to a planet? A place with weather, with skies, with life? You get it quickly, before you can think about it anymore. It's too soon to hope. Too dangerous. There's work to be done. Moving the horizon. Celis is apparently going to start moving the sidereal horizon to the hub soon. So we got a 6-turn yellow counter. Shipyard. Sidereal draw. Havigen has said it'll be a few cycles until the winners of the draw are announced. You'll have to come back then. Alright, and not there. Just going to take a quick look around. Hey, what's this? One last job. Morris has heard Bliss speaking with someone remotely. Is there another job coming in? Oh, interesting. So Moritz has traditionally come and told us. So I'm not too worried about missing out on that. Okay, so yeah, next turn is going to be mushrooms. So we'll go ahead and hack a Yadigan agent for some money. Where's the data broker? Still got nothing. This, I think, is a huge missed opportunity. There were 2 things to do here and nothing else. It's kind of sad. And cycle. Feed our cat. Even before you get out of the office, you can hear the sound of Rabia working the heavy bag. She's hammering it, the chain creaking as it shakes with each hit. She's been like this since... Sabine doesn't finish the sentence. They're sitting on a stool looking at the terminal in the corner, searching through SNARP data you pulled cycles ago. Is she okay? Just angry. We all are. You have to remember, she knew Yannick for a long time. Sabine glances nervously at Rabia. What SNARP did. Rabia stops punching, and in the silence, you can hear her breathing hard. Sabine looks over at her, and you sense something between them. You realize you haven't seen them together since they tried to kill each other in the same unit. A lot has changed since then. They hooked him up like a puppet, Rabia hits the bag. Rigged that thing in his head so they could control him. Pushed the old Yannick out. I don't know why he let them in. Rabia throws a few more punches. But it's a lesson. Don't let them in. Another flurry. Yadigan shouldn't deal with corporations. and we never will again, she spits. She comes away from the bag. At least Yannick's death has been treated as natural. There's a chance we can come back from this, that Yadigan can hold on, but there are opportunists trying to take control. Sabine turns to you. Yes, but now that the connection has been broken, I've been looking at removing the trackers from the implants in Yadigan's enforcers. It's a significant job, but I think with time, I can do the surgeries. Rabia walks away from the bag towards the far side of the unit. Those surgeries will never happen if Yadigan collapses, she shouts back at Sabine. Clearly, this is a well-worn argument in this unit. What now for you? Sabine looks over at Rabia. I want to help fix this mess if I can. There's the implants, and I want to return to my surgery. The low end needs doctors. What I understand now is that Yadigan can be something if we want it to be. Coming here from SNR, from the core worlds, all I saw was a gang. And with Yannick keeping me on a tight leash, they shudder. Rabia believes, and I want that belief. They look unsure. I also want to be done with SNR, but I doubt they are done with me. They glance away, rubbing their shoulders. Are you and Rabia? Sabine fixes you with a look. Yes, Sleeper. Isn't that obvious? They smile. I've been wanting to say, Sabine begins nervously, I'm sorry that I didn't tell you where I came from. I know I've apologized before, but I want to again. They pause. Properly. When I leaked the data on the Sleeper program, it was to try to help people, like you. They grit their teeth. But after all the cycles here being pushed down, pushed around, trying to survive, all that got away from me. So when you turned up, it shook me up. They run a hand through their hair. But I ended up here, so they look at Rabia. Oh, of course. They reach into a pocket and take out a handful of vials. These are the last of the case. You can have them. They drop them into your hands. After these last few, I don't know what we can do. With the SNR connection broken, they look down. But I know there are other ways. Repairs, other pharmaceuticals. I haven't heard there are some labs out on the Greenway. Perhaps they can help. They meet your eye. I'm sorry I can't do more. Thanks for everything. They look away, their eyes bright with tears. Rabia crosses back to you and sits beside Sabine. They look at each other and you can't help but smile at the idea of them together. What are you two plotting? Rabia grins. Sabine laughs and the sound is welcome one. You watch the two of them teasing each other and smile. Later when you leave, you take the handful of vials out of your pocket and look at them. You can still feel that core of anger deep down inside, and you don't know if it will ever leave. But SNR doesn't own you anymore. They can't, because this place, these people, own you. They're what makes you get up every cycle. They're what keeps you breathing. You put the vials away and walk through the low end. Your senses tuned to every sight, every smell, and every sound, soaking it all in and living. Yeah. So, we're going to upgrade into it. Yep. Wrong one. There we go. Aviator. right and get our next one going. I want to see something. If I remember right, I need to bring mushrooms to these people. Okay, I need girl caps, yeah. Looks like I got 2 stabilizers. Oh, and I think I can't buy stabilizer anymore. But I can use scrap now, so not much of an issue. Yeah, it's just gone. The doctor, yeah. Okay, and I have 1 piece of scrap, so... Rico meets you at the entrance to the lab, leaning on her crutch with a glint in her eye. Walk with me, Sleeper. I'd like to tell you a story. She makes her way down the corridor that leads back up towards the main commune building. When people first crossed what we call Founder's Gap into the Greenway, they did so against the wishes of Andre Erlin. At the time, Erlin was trying to stabilize the Union and establish control over the Eye in the wake of Solheim's collapse. It was chaos, competing factions, failing systems, so many dead and injured from the riots. That was his priority. Why? Erlin was interested in people, not plants. He was a pragmatist, and for good reason. You both crossed through the glass-roofed tunnel. The Greenway, outside, crowded with vines and branches, dappling the light. Erlin had ridden the Greenway off. Cut off from the rest of the station and linked to a broken spoke, he claimed it was only a matter of time before everything here would die. He refused to let anyone abandon their duty to the Union and cross. They were traitors of the cause, or as good as. Rico continues, making her slow but steady way into the inner gardens of the commune. There weren't many of us, but we believed that what was here was worth saving. We had to keep our plans secret until we crossed, and some of us left people behind. She pauses to catch her breath, her voice cracking. It is difficult to know if it's effort or emotion. What we found was a disaster, nothing like what you see here. Half of the Greenway was leaking oxygen into space, the plants flash frozen. The other half was a swamp of mulch, as decaying matter clogged every system. We worked hard. We lost good people. We cleaned up and closed up, but it was never going to be enough. After many, many cycles, we all knew this place was doomed, but we kept on working, talking less and less because we couldn't face it. We all developed a death wish. If the Green was going to die, so would we. What changed? Everything, Rico smiles. We crossed some invisible boundary, tipped some biological scale, and the Greenway started to recover. Plants flowered, crops sprouted. For the first time, we reaped the fruits of our labor, Rico smiles, looking up at you. We thought it was us, that we managed to do just enough to end the cycle of decay. I thought we had saved the Greenway, until today. You pass into the grow beds of the commune, rich with the hustle and bustle of Haifa members, planting and harvesting. For a while, Rico is quiet, and you both simply observe the hypnotic movements of the work crews, the eager chatter washing over you like a wave. Rico smiles to herself. I should have known, of course, that our arrogance was unfounded. But we needed to believe back then. We needed a myth to bring more people across the gap. You both move into a smaller corridor, Rico following some direction unknown to you. What you've shown me is that back then, the Greenway saved us, not the other way around. Tell me, have you ever consumed one of the matsutakes or girl caps you've been growing? Yes. I imagine they were delicious, nutritious, almost uniquely so, she muses. After all, they were designed for you. Rico has a mischievous look. At first, I thought it was the location they were grown in that made the mushrooms from the aviary, from the labs, or from the grove different from each other. But what I've come to understand is that it's the person growing them. The matsutake and girl caps you brought me are totally unique, containing compounds never usually found in similar specimens in my possession. Many of these compounds aren't even digestible for humans, but for a sleeper like you. Rico smiles as she leads you into the internal garden of the commune, where the hyphen members have planted species from all over the Greenway. Back when the tide turned, when the Greenway started to recover, we all felt something, a response. It was as if the place was not just alive, as a force is alive, but alive in other ways, communicative, responsive. We shrugged it off at the time, but now I understand why. Rico stops and turns to you. This place is responding to us, adapting itself to us. It is growing fruiting bodies for you, for me. It's adapting, changing. It is, in short, displaying all the signs of sentience. The Greenway is sentient? Perhaps not the Greenway, but the ecosystem itself, or something within it. Rico sits on a bench within the peaceful gardens and gestures for you to join her. When you've been growing the Grolles and the matsutake and the aviary, those species so familiar to the Greenway, have you discovered any others? Yes. Rico can barely contain her excitement. I should like to see those. Please bring me some next time you are here. You look around the garden, amazed at the sense of peace within it. Rico interrupts the silence. There is a species of mushroom that I haven't seen in years. It is dark, short, shaped like a club. We first found it in those early days when we were working to save this place. It was around the time that we started to lose our first members. They were succumbing to some infection, some mold growing deep in the dark mulch that drowned this place. At that point, we thought we were lost, and these mushrooms emerged from the same black mold. We tested them and saw that they contained some compounds that counteracted the mold. They contained an antidote. Of course, as a botanist, I saw this as part of the natural process of this ecosystem. Even at the time, sales seemed absurdly short. But what I'm wondering is if that antidote was a gift. Perhaps if you were patient, you'll receive your gift too, Sleeper. Oh, I might have maybe mumbled something about this ending and maybe spoiled it. You both sit for a while. Rico is seemingly done telling stories for today. You watch the light playing off the leaves and plants around you and wonder what force could be at play in this place. After a while, you stand and leave. With a quiet nod to Rico, leaving her with her memories. Yep, clubhead symbols. Rico is eager to see the clubhead caps. Okay, I need 3 of them. So... I'll hopefully get them next time. So what have we got? Enter the Greenway, Flotilla Aid, Rico's Experiments, win a ticket. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's not quite enough points to max everything, but... Well, shoot. I think this is a good place to end it. And I think, if I remember right, let me take a look and see who's up. Well, if you sat here and listened to me talk for a while, you're apparently, good with talking. So we're going to raid a Halbernack. He'll be playing some kind of tabletop RPG with a group. I think Lancer, but we'll see. Looks like he might